All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. The finals could come to an end on Thursday night. You got one last chance to get in on the action, and FanDuel makes it easier than ever to do so. Before tip-off or live, they have player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans now have more ways than ever to play smart. And then one big, if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And if you win a ticket, send it in. We want to feature it here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Send us in your winning FanDuel ticket, and we will feature you on the air. G, you were here yesterday. We talked about the Magic acquiring Desmond Bane yesterday, but Bull was not here. Tyvis was not here, so I want to progress that conversation a little further with something I saw floating around on Twitter. Tyvis, I'll start with you.
Oh, man.
Who's got a better core right now, the Magic or the Cavs? I put together a side-by-side comparison with the Ringers' top 100 rankings next to each player. Those are their top 5 guys. The Cavs have 5 guys in the Ringers' top 100. The Magic have 4. Those are their rankings. But Tyvis, who do you think has a better overall core now, the Magic or the Cavs?
You know it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's just a year ago, it wasn't even close. Like, to me, it was the Cavs. And after this season, I'm still going to say the Cavs. I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to say the Cavs. But if we went up against them in the playoffs, I'd be scared. I'd really fear.
I'd be scared if we went up against them in the park.
Because they took us to 7 without Bane.
Yeah.
And now that they got a shooter.
Yeah.
The Cavs is the better group. Is the better core group. I'm gonna throw that out there. Y'all can feel how y'all want to feel. I think the Cavs is a better core group. I do like the age though of the Orlando Magic.
I'm not seeing things clearly right now because
you still furious.
I'm in this mode where I feel like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley are overrated.
Darius Garland and
so
Evan?
Especially Darius, but
dang.
But I just feel like I don't know. I'm very negative on the Cavs right now, and I feel like I'm not able to give because the Cavs are better.
Yes,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But
we need to cut it out.
I'm particularly down. I'm like, and Jason and Mike being so obsessed with Evan Mobley, and I love both those guys. Love them, they know I love them.
Oh, talking about Mike and
Mike
Jason?
and Jason, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they're both of them are pissing me off because they're so obsessed with Mobley, and
you don't see it.
All this talk about his defense, Mike, I just don't see him in big spots against good teams.
Defensive player of the year.
I don't care about that. That is a beauty contest. That's not legit. We can't be arguing these things like it's the whole thing with the Kevin Stefanski Coach of the Year. The fact it's just ridiculous. These guys win awards based on narratives. Mike, give me the big spot in the big game where Evan Mobley made a big defensive play. You got him? Because it seems like he never does anything in a big spot.
Didn't he glass somebody?
Where's his moment in the playoffs?
If I remember correctly, he had a big block in Game 5 at the end of the first half against Jalen Brown. That was last year in the playoffs against the Celtics.
You're not even sure about that, and that's 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, how many big-time defensive moments can you think about when the Cavs were getting blown out in Game 4? Like,
it's just
he didn't play Game 2; it was close.
I don't know. Where are his moments?
Why you hate him so much?
I don't hate him.
I mean, he was really good in the playoff series against the Celtics. Like, though we had that coming out moment.
But
I think
he got hurt in Game 1.
They had nobody else on the court. So
he was very good in the first quarter of Game 5, and they went away from him.
You really did.
If you were putting together, do you really believe that Evan Mobley, when it matters, I don't care about these scrub teams that you're playing in the regular season.
Could he? Yeah.
When it really matters, do you believe Evan Mobley is the 17th best player in the entire NBA?
I'd take Paolo.
I find that impossible.
I'd take Paolo over him for sure.
Yeah, I think Paolo's way too low on that list, but I do think Mobley's in the right range.
So
wait, what was Paolo on that list?
I think you guys are
22.
Yeah, no, I take him
Let's
over
face
Evan.
it,
I ain't
Mike.
gonna lie to you. I definitely take him over
Let's face
Evan.
it. To be an elite player in the NBA, you got to be a dog.
You don't think Evan got that?
Evan's
not a dog.
Do you consider Tim Duncan a dog?
Yes, maybe not in a traditional sense.
So why can't Mobley
wait a
be
minute.
a dog in the same sense
Did
as
you
that?
just compare?
Let me tell you something.
No. I was thinking of someone who wasn't like an alpha personality.
Tim Duncan might not be an in-your-face type of player.
He lost his
but
mind,
his
didn't
game
he?
was off dog, Mike. You know that.
I'm saying
Let's
Tim
face
Duncan's
it.
a guy who was not an in-your-face dog. Who's an all-time great player. I'm saying
Mike,
you don't have to be an in-your-face dog.
Evan
to be
Mobley,
an all-time kind of
even in
player.
this regular season where we lauded this team nonstop, even in this regular season, most of the time when he played against the few real centers that there are, he didn't stand out.
That boy compared.
It's tough.
He's not as good as those
I
guys.
didn't compare him
Yes,
to Duncan.
you did.
So
I
let's
said
just
I gave you
compare
an
him to
example of a
Duncan.
guy who's not in your face,
Yes,
aggressive
I
like
know,
some of
but
the
Tim
other guys
Duncan
who
was
were
just a
also.
monster.
Here's-
He's not a
here-
monster.
let me
Nobody's
put-
afraid of Evan Mobley.
I
Come
wasn't
on.
saying he's Tim Duncan. I said he was a not in your face guy who was
I hear
incredible.
you.
Mobley
But
is not at that
But
level
Tim
yet.
Duncan's how many years we gotta wait?
Going to year 5. He's 23 years old, boy.
I don't care how old he is. Everybody's 23 years old.
23 years old.
And let me tell you this. Let me give you this. I think what Bull is trying to say is, and let me see if I can articulate this, right? So, like, if I'm looking at players, right, in the pantheon of great all-time players and players that you'd be like, oh, that's him. So I go back and look at power forwards, all right? So we talk about Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Timmy D.
You already know what that is.
Kevin Garnett.
KG. You already know
No,
what that
KG
is.
was an in your face guy.
Dirk Nowitzki.
I mean, we could go to 100 guys before we get to Evan Mobley. 200 guys.
Like,
man.
he like,
I'm not saying he's in that
okay.
category.
Leg
yet.
up.
Smaller, huh?
Leg up.
Yeah, listen, from Olajuwon to guys that
Olajuwon was a
What
center.
is Karl Malone?
Karl
considered?
Malone is a power forward.
Okay.
Even we see
Kevin McHale.
Charles Barkley. Like, these dudes are MVPs.
Tom Chambers, for crying out loud.
Tom
He's
Giannis.
one of the most underrated players in the history of the NBA. I think.
Giannis. So what he's saying
Giannis
is,
is a nice guy.
so what he's saying is,
Giannis is a killer.
can you foresee at the end of the game, they swinging the ball to Mobley and he doing you like this?
We mean like wave you off?
Yeah.
I can give you an example when he did it this year.
I'm saying in the
Against
playoffs.
the Thunder, who were one game away from
wait a
winning
minute.
the
No.
championship.
I'm saying in the playoffs.
Give the ball to. Wait a minute. Hold on. First of all, Evan has taken major steps this season.
I get
like
that.
the dude put the ball on the ground and get to the basket. Like that's crazy.
I'm playing devil.
So if it was the case, I wouldn't be all the way mad.
Listen, I'm playing devil's advocate. Why Bull is saying y'all gassing him like he KD.
Yes.
Like he cool.
He like he
17th
Kevin
best
Durant.
player in the
He
league.
never
He
said
made
it.
second team
Nobody ever
All-NBA.
said that.
I don't care.
Who
But
said
just because you don't care doesn't mean it's irrelevant.
Mike, second team All NBA is absurd.
That's a great.
Is
Listen,
he not a top 10 player in the league?
No,
He was this year.
No, get out of
He
here.
was, Bull.
you feel he
Based
was,
on what?
The fact that he was defensive player
What
of the year,
makes you
he
think he
averaged
not,
18
though?
and 10.
You're saying
Hold on, hold
you're
on.
saying that he's a top 10
You saying
player
he's top 10
because
now?
a bunch of writers named
Wait,
him defensive
I gotta
player of the
think.
year.
Hold on. Let's define this argument. Are you saying that Evan Mobley is top 10 right now?
The article clearly says he's 17.
No.
Oh, okay. That's why I was.
No,
just-
but Mike's
I
saying
think he's between 15 and 20 in the NBA right now. Yes.
then why do he shouldn't have been second team All NBA?
Well,
Because a lot of guys miss some games, Bo, and they don't qualify. So guess what? When you take those
Okay,
guys
so he's
out,
not a
yeah,
top
he was
10
one of the
player.
10 best guys in the NBA. Learn how the rules work. Come on.
18 and 10. How many guys did he actually average 10 rebounds a game? No, I don't think he did.
18.5 points, 9.6 rebounds.
Okay, so he didn't average 18 and 10. Don't overplay his numbers.
So he got Chris.
How
Webber
many
numbers.
guys in the NBA
That's
averaged
messed
18
up.
and 9 this year?
That's messed up.
I can
How
tell you-
uncommon
give
was
me,
that?
Give me 1 sec. I'll
All
pull it
right.
up. Give me 1 sec.
I can give you 10
I'm not
guys.
saying he's a scrub.
I
I'm just saying he's not a superstar.
Hey, listen.
You don't think?
No, I just don't think
You,
so.
so you mean to tell me you didn't see the development from last
I
year to this
did,
year?
but I just don't see him ever being a star.
Why? Because he's not aggressive enough?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. I give you that.
So I guess
Was Kevin Love?
well, he's not going to be a superstar on the team that leads you anywhere.
Who?
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love's not going to be. Kevin Love was never.
I'm not in the camp that Evan Mobley has to be the best player for the
Kevin
to win it all.
Love? What did Minnesota ever do with Kevin Love? Nothing.
Both 5 players in the NBA averaged 18.5 points and 9.4 rebounds or more this year. 1 of 5.
Okay, that's good. Good for him. I would like. Who are the other 4 guys?
So the only issue you
Sabonis?
have. Okay, that's
Karl Anthony Towns, Jokic, and Giannis. And Şengün, sorry, 6.
You're already making nonsense.
So 6. My apologies.
I mean, you know what's rough, though.
And how many guys average 20 and 8? There's probably more guys that did that, right?
This is tough,
Like,
Mike.
those guys are all way better than him,
So
Mike.
what are you insinuating?
That's my point.
Let me ask you.
He's right below that category.
I think whatever.
And by the way, he's not worse than Sabonis. I'd take him over Karl Anthony Towns.
But you're
any day of the week.
biased.
You take Evan Mobley over Cat?
Karl Anthony Towns?
You wouldn't?
Well, Cat don't play defense, so.
By the way, Cat made second team All-NBA too, so if you want to say it's irrelevant for Mobley, it's also relevant for Cat.
I don't bring those things. When do I ever bring up those awards?
You just brought it up a second ago and you said it was irrelevant.
You don't like. So you're
Because you brought up him winning an award.
So let me get this right.
Yeah.
The only issue you have with Evan Mobley is that he's not aggressive.
That's the biggest issue I have with
But
him.
you
I
do
just
see the
don't
talent, though.
Of course he's talented. I'm not trying to argue he stinks.
So because he not a,
I
so
just
because
don't
he
buy-
have the mentality.
But you play professional
it's
sports.
a huge part.
You know the mentality
It's a
is
huge part
important.
of it for sure.
You can't be a superstar if you're a soft ass. He's a soft ass.
So, Bull, whose
They
core do you
said-
like more, the Magic or the Cavs? I know you
probably,
said the Cavs.
probably the Cavs.
G, who would you take, G? The
He get
Cavs
on
core or
this
the Magic
just to
core?
pick the Cavs.
I'm gonna go with the Cavs. I'm higher on Evan Mobley than Bull is, but I can see where he's coming from a standpoint.
I see where he coming from too.
In terms of their core, I think Banchero could possibly, given the fact that he is 6'10",
He's the second best player on that list.
yeah,
I don't care
Banchero's
what
a
nobody.
stud.
He's
Yeah.
the second best player
Stud.
on this.
and you know what? You know
It's not even close.
And you know why that Magic list is looking so good, because that
They're young.
team, the defense, that team is that defensively. Here's what irks me about the Cavs. What irks me about the Cavs is their effort, their intensity, and their defensive prowess is dictated on whether they're hitting threes.
Well, guess what?
And if they're not hitting threes,
Guess what? It wasn't like that a year ago when JB was the coach.
So I mean,
Before they fired, they said he was the problem.
why you think at this point I'm ready to move pieces now?
Oh.
Why you think? So I've always said.
So you said it wasn't JB?
If JB didn't get it done, and you still been talking about the core four, why do you think people are actually saying that? Like, yeah. By the way, there's a lot of guys that weren't superstars that averaged. They gave you 20 and 10.
Yeah.
Who?
David West gave you 20 and 10.
David West was a beast,
LaMarcus
first
Aldridge gave you 20
Well,
and
that-
10. Chris Webber gave you 20 and 10.
Well, I take
Vin
all-
Baker gave you 20
I
and 10.
take them all over it.
But that's what I'm saying.
All right, let me ask you guys
Take
this.
all them over
I'm
there.
looking
You
at this
crazy?
top 100 list.
Okay.
Let me give you the guys they have after Mobley, and you tell me if you think they're better than Mobley.
Top
All right,
100
all right.
list?
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Where
line.
he's 17?
He's 17.
Okay.
Right? Let's first look at the couple guys before
Banchero
him.
is before
So
him.
the couple of guys after, like higher up on the list.
All right, come on.
So we'll start with 13. 13 to Anthony Davis.
And
Obviously,
real
he's
quick, just so people know,
Yeah.
this is the 8 NBA guys for the Ringer. They all submit a top 100. They
Right.
give the cumulative number. Just
All
so
right,
everyone's
Kevin
on the same
Durant,
page.
healthy-
14.
yeah.
Kawhi, 15. Cade Cunningham, 16. All those guys are clearly better than Evan Mobley.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Number 18, Karl Anthony Towns.
Very close.
I would take Karl Anthony
I take
Towns.
Mobley.
Very
I
close.
think I take Mobley. to be
Very,
honest
very
with you.
close.
19, Devin Booker. He's better than Devin Booker?
No.
No,
I love Booker. I take Booker.
I'll take Booker.
And again, you can't factor in age because we're talking about right
No,
now.
I
yes,
just said I
Booker's
take
older.
Booker.
I'll take Booker.
There's one.
Okay, Devin Booker. So he should at least be, even Mike admits he should be one spot lower. You didn't take any of the guys that were ahead of him, Mike, you didn't think he was better than any of them, correct?
Let me skim through real quick. No.
Cade is the only close person.
They have Halliburton ahead of him. I don't think Halliburton's better than him.
You just seen what Halliburton just
What is he talking
I don't think
about?
Halliburton's better than
You
him.
didn't.
What is he
You didn't see
talking
what this man done
about,
did for the last
man?
two months.
I don't think Halliburton's better than him.
He lit people's
What?
houses on fire for the last 2 months.
I don't think Halliburton's better than him.
What?
I don't think Halliburton's better than.
You
Look at
are-
the.
Man,
They have
listen.
Halliburton at 7 in the league right now, ahead of Donovan, Tatum, Wemby, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Durant, and Kawhi.
Did you not just see what he did?
I don't
in the
even know what to
postseason?
say right now.
He's on a heater right now. He's playing out of his mind. He played
He
like
was on the
dog crap
Olympic
last
team.
night.
He was on the Olympic team,
You
That
are
guy
and he's
has made more
destroyed
points shots
everybody.
McNuggets
This
out the
postseason
lunch.
than every Cavs player has
Ever.
made in their
He
entire
does not do
career.
with the Cavs anymore. I just don't think he's the 7th best player in basketball.
We could argue that, Mike, but to say you don't think he's better than Evan Mobley?
No, I don't think he's better than Mobley. No.
I think you're out of your mind.
You out of your mind.
Honest to God, I don't.
I think that's your worst basketball take ever.
I don't think he's better. I think
Honestly, I have never heard you make a bad
you
basketball
talk about
take until
recency bias, Bull. I think right now you are completely caught up in, and so is the Ringer, by the way.
All
To
right.
put him
Well,
seventh.
all right. We'll leave that. How about Jalen Williams?
Despite what he did last night,
No, I take Mobley over him.
I would take Mobley over Jalen.
That's
But
close.
I would hear the argument.
That's
That is
close.
neck and
I
neck.
take Mobley over
Who's
him.
more of a dog?
Jalen
Williams is more
Williams.
of a dog.
There you go. Jalen Brown.
Come on, stop. That's
Really
right
gonna tell
now.
me that Evan Mobley's better than Jalen Brown.
He's not.
I think
Nope.
Brown's a better player. I'd probably rather have Mobley.
I think I agree with that.
That's just crazy talk.
I agree with that. Actually, it makes sense. I agree.
Paolo.
I'm
I'd
taking
have
Paolo.
I'd take Paolo.
I'm taking
Okay.
Paolo.
That's easy.
Siakam.
Nope.
New.
All right, fine. Jimmy Butler. I don't like
Nope.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
I'm not a Jimmy Butler fan. Jaren Jackson Jr.
Nope.
Nope.
De'Aaron Fox.
Nope.
Swiper. All right.
Chet Holmgren.
Nope.
Nah, it's close.
Jamal Murray. James Harden. I hate
Nope.
James
Nope.
Harden. All right.
Jamal Murray.
So he shouldn't be 17. He should probably be in the low 20s.
Now, I don't know why this took the Evan Mobley trail.
Yeah.
The person I had the problem with is the Darius Garland.
Well, Darius Garland, let's look at him now.
The
He's
Darius Garland one
He's
to me
28th
is
on the list.
He's 28, all right? You putting him ahead?
I'm a DG apologist.
All right,
All right.
you putting him ahead of Chet Holmgren, who they got one spot ahead of him? I'm not.
I'd rather have Holmgren.
Yes. And De'Aaron Fox, all the guys I just mentioned. You
Yes.
putting Darius ahead of any of those guys? No. Mike?
I can hear the De'Aaron Fox.
Butler's so hard. He's terrible in the regular season. He was terrible in the playoffs. Well, he wasn't terrible in the playoffs. But no, he's in the right spot.
Okay.
Darius is in the right spot.
So let's look at the guys behind Darius, see if we put these guys ahead of Darius.
And then we got to move on because we got 2 more topics I really want to get to.
The answer is
29, Jamal Murray.
no.
Nope.
Give me Jamal Murray.
No.
You think Darius Garland right now helps
better
the team
than
win
Jamal
more than
Murray?
Jamal Murray?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Playoff Jamal Murray?
He's
who-
non-existent.
NBA champion Jamal Murray?
He's
We've been a
Dagger
long,
shot?
long way
Non-existent.
removed from that first.
James Harden's an empty stat machine, so forget him. Sabonis.
I don't like Sabonis, so I'd rather.
That's tough. That's tough.
Sabonis low-key looks like
That's tough.
Sabonis looks like the guy that plays the wizard from Marvel.
He does. Doctor Strange.
Doesn't he look like
He
Doctor
got a
Strange?
little Doctor Strange.
does.
Benedict Cumberbatch? Is that his name?
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Bam Adebayo.
I'd take Bam.
Of course.
Yes. Trey Young.
Nope.
I might take Trey. I ain't gonna lie with you.
I'm taking Trey Young.
He giving me
Trey
11,
Young
He giving
is-
me 11, 12 dimes too.
Yeah, he is.
Shooting.
But he has to play his style. Like,
But
And Darius Garland play his
Darius
style.
Garland?
It's the same
Darius
style, but
Garland-
with JV.
I
they
didn't
both
hear you.
defensive liabilities.
Is Trey Young a liability on defense?
Yes.
The biggest liability in the
he,
world.
he like
Nobody can be bigger than Darius. That's
Hey,
no,
Trey-
he
then you have
is.
not watched Trey Young play basketball.
Yeah.
John Morant.
I'm taking.
Give me Ja.
Ja's more talented.
Get me
I'm
Ja.
taking.
Ja's more
Yeah, I'm
talented.
taking
but
Ja.
What are you
I'm not-
talking
I mean-
about?
Yeah, I'm taking Ja.
Zubac.
Zubac.
Zubac
my
is
boy.
low key
That's my boy.
Yeah,
a
Zubac is
monster.
really good.
That's my boy.
Big Nuggets. Zubac is low key a monster now.
That's my boy.
No, Zubac is a monster. We're gonna do a topic in the
I
next
mean, it's hard to
couple days.
compare a guy like Zubac
Yeah.
and
But
Garland.
we're gonna do a topic in the next couple
Zubac
of days.
and Mobley?
That's my boy.
No, Zubac and Garland. 'cause
Garland,
they're,
yeah.
they're two complete.
No, I want
Sengun.
Zubac.
I'm taking Sengun
I
over,
would take Sengun.
over Darius.
I'll take
Yes.
And I take Franz
Sengun.
Wagner.
And I take Franz Wagner.
I would too.
I'd take Derek White over Darius.
I take Maxey.
And Maxey. Darius should be like 35, 40. He's friggin' overrated.
I'm a Darius apologist.
OG? You taking OG Anunoby?
No.
No. I take Amen Thompson though.
No.
Even Mike's admitting that Darius is overrated right now.
I don't think he's 20th best guy in the league. No.
No.